Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Built to Last podcast with Josh Cline. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to do some employee highlights that we're going to pepper in some interviews through here with some people that help us make this big machine kind of run. So today, we got Jesse Peck, our project manager for Mr. H Remodel. Jesse, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I mean, I say welcome. It wasn't like you weren't just sitting back there doing a quote. So it's not like this is anything new. But, you know, what I really want to help show homeowners is not just the stuff we do, but the stuff they need to know when they're shopping, when they're starting to go into the remodel process, those types of things. And, you know, experience obviously is important.
Yeah.
So why don't you do me a favor and walk us through your background?
Sure.
And what got you into this type of business and what, you know, the things you love to do.
So I've been building one way or another my whole life. My dad was a carpenter. My stepfather was the president of Norton, so he built diamond blades that cut concrete. So I've been around construction since I crawled. So I've always helped in one way or another. Oddly enough, I actually started in this business because I was an artist. I was drawing renderings.
Okay.
And that got me, fell in with a guy who was doing like Super 8s and Best Westerns, and I was doing renderings for him. And that led me to kind of a drafting career where I went on to legacy communities and helped design communities and cookie cutter homes. And from there, I made it into an architectural firm. Eventually made associate there and worked directly with the partners. And we worked on much higher end products. We did a Hard Rock Resort Hotel and Casino in Panama and the Hyatt in Curacao. And we did several Ritz-Carltons and Westons. And
you get to travel to those?
Yeah. So I did some
Curacao is one of my favorite places. We went here before last.
List work. That was such a learning experience. Like those guys were so awesome.
Yeah.
A bunch of Clemson grads, you know, but so in 2009, you know, everybody knows the economy sort of took a downturn and the firm kind of dwindled to the last remaining employees trying to keep it afloat. And from there, I kind of went back to my artistic roots for a little bit and opened up a photography company and programming and just, you know, I'm a jack of all trades, if you will. So eventually went into marketing and long story short, I ended up going to work with a buddy of mine. His name was Josh also.
Yeah.
And he was doing handyman work. And I talked him into doing a remodel, and we lost our butts, and talked him into another one, and we broke even, and then another. And then we built Atlanta Premium Remodeling over about a 15-year period.
Yeah.
And before I moved here to Nashville, we had probably 30 projects going. You know, we were doing very well.
Yeah.
And I sort of handed my part over to a protege who was with us the entire time. And since I've been here in Nashville, I've been doing project management and just running various sized residential remodel.
Yeah, and what I found interesting when we first interviewed a while back was the variety, right? So your jobs were, I think the last company, like 70 to 400,000. Is that right?
That's right.
That's pretty wild.
I've done a lot. I think the most expensive job I've done residentially was about $785,000.
And that's not a build.
That's a remodel. It was a historic place that was built to resemble a museum that was in Savannah, Georgia, and it was 3 stories with a basement, and then it had a rotunda on top that was an office. It had gotten struck by lightning and half the house burned down.
Oh, wow.
So I took on that job, and that was a full gut rebuild to historic standards.
Yeah, which is a whole different animal.
It's a whole different beast.
Years ago when I was working with Lowe's, we had to do historic windows a lot for the houses out in East Nashville because East Nashville is very strict about certain those things.
For sure.
It's got to go back in there. I just remember trying to find the manufacturer that had the correct grid pattern for the correct color to be able to be able to put the correct window in.
Near impossible.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah.
We found them, but it was very tough to find. So one of the things that kind of stuck out when we first talked also was, you know, you get attached to your customers. It seems like, and we were out just the other day on a start of a new job, and Barb and Brian, awesome people, right? But awesome you could tell that already they're super excited for this build out.
Yeah.
And you kind of built that up, right? And they did a lot of research on you.
Yeah, they did research on me. They did background checks and everything. Like I was their guy. You know? So, which is flattering. You know?
Yeah.
But I've spent a lot of years building that kind of reputation.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're excited to have you on, right? You know, we've been doing this for a while, but to get the right person to launch this division in the way that we want to run it in the future was so important. Right?
Oh yeah.
And it's still a learning curve, right? We still have stuff we're learning about software and programs and everything that kind of goes into it. And it's been fun for me, right? Because I like seeing new things. I love technology, as you've learned. Right, so I like using technology as much as we can.
I love how technology has taken this. You know, it makes things a lot easier these days.
It really does, and it helps us get through a lot of things a lot quicker than we used to be able to than the old pen and paper days. Right?
Yeah, even like these estimates. You know, it's like I can pump an estimate out pretty quick.
Yep.
Whereas 10 years ago, I was getting on whatever website I could and looking up the current price and. Constant. Like I'd have a whole notepad filled for one estimate and it'd take so much longer.
Yeah. And now we're able to build our own price books, right? So we have a price book, everything built in, and we can just kind of go and select and edit and do the things we need to do to make sure we can get the customer back a quote pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this launch and this model is that it's efficient, right?
Yeah.
It's making sure that we can take care of the customers because the years in the handyman business that we've been doing, the bigger jobs, it's always taken us quite a while to kind of get quotes.
Yeah, and you bid them out, and there'd still be some ambiguous content in those estimates. Like one thing that I think my clients really enjoy about my estimates is I break down by line item what each thing costs and where all the money is going. And so when it comes time to bill, they have no real questions there. It's like all about communication.
Yep.
And most projects will break down because you haven't communicated the money. Because that's
right.
really what people care about. They want their dream kitchen or their dream bathroom. But when they're spending $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 for it, like where's all that money actually going?
At the end of the day, that investment's significant, right?
Yeah.
And you want to know where every piece is going. One of the things that we've learned over the years doing this is the allowances, right? So let's walk through for homeowners that are considering remodels. Like when we talk about an allowance item, what does that mean?
So allowance items allow for fluctuation in pricing. So let's say you're doing a kitchen and you've got like a faucet, you've got cabinets, you've got countertops, you've got the backsplash tile.
Materials.
It's a material selection. Some materials, they're just part of it. So it doesn't really need an allowance, like electrical wire. You don't have to pick what kind of electrical wire you're going to buy, right?
Yep.
But you do have a style. Anything that's stylized is typically an allowance.
Gotcha.
So I'm doing chrome fixtures with granite countertop, and I'm doing, subway tile backsplash with Schluter edging, right?
Yep.
All of those would be selection items.
Okay.
And that's like the most important part really before you start is having all of that figured out.
Yeah. And the customer having a good idea of what they want, right?
Yeah.
And you said you were an artist and I knew you've got a great eye in what we've seen, but sometimes we want to get somebody else involved.
Oh yeah,
right?
Designers, that's where they come in.
Yeah, is when we start getting into those crazy
it can get
colors.
Very complicated and overwhelming quickly.
Sure.
Especially if you're doing a whole edition, but even just a kitchen.
Yeah.
Like you start, okay, well, I want a pot filler, but like I've got this, Delta faucet I've picked out, but I don't like the pot filler that I want. The sheen doesn't match, and I didn't know that. Now it's ordered and on site. The project's delayed because you don't want it, and we can't put the backsplash on, and now we're 2 weeks out from our estimated schedule.
All because we didn't buy the same brand pot filler that we bought of the faucets.
Right. And it's those little pitfalls that can turn what is like, I'm so excited into, Oh crap!
It's taken a month
It's
longer than
taken
I
a
thought it
month
would.
longer. Yeah.
And I think it's important for consumers to know that a timeline's an estimated timeline, right?
Yeah.
In our business, we do everything that we can. From our aspect, we want to get done as quickly as possible,
Oh yeah.
right? That's our goal is to get to that shortest timeline we give you. But when it comes down to it, things happen, things change,
Sure.
and we've got to make sure customers understand. We're going to get it done. Things will get done, but sometimes they just run longer on little stuff like that.
Yeah. Selections are a huge part of delays.
Yeah.
But it can be all of that can be taken care of prior to, I would say 90% of it can be taken care of prior to start.
Yeah.
If you do the due diligence and even if you have to postpone starting your project, if you just do the due diligence, get that selected, we have it all worked out, we can do the ordering, all of the financial parts of allowances. See, like the estimate that you have is going to have an allowance. If you go over it, there'll be a change order for that. If you go under it, there'll be a reimbursement change order. So
Yeah.
having all that figured out prior not only helps the client, but it also helps the project manager running it not have to track stuff that when he should be paying attention to the framing, should be paying
Yeah.
attention to the quality. So getting that stuff taken care of prior is just key to everyone having a stress-free existence during the
and ideally on site, ready to go, right? Before we even start the project.
Or at least stored somewhere it can be easily delivered.
Yeah, and accessed.
Sometimes during demo, depending on the size of the project, unless there's a separate area like the garage or something that you can store the stuff, sometimes it's best to store it off site and then deliver it day before, it's used.
And it's funny how the cost and the allowances can vary in people's taste so much, right? So it's really comes down to what kind of taste you have. My wife will tell you I have very expensive taste.
Yeah.
And that's the things I see that I like, that's what I want to go get. And so anytime I'm talking to somebody about it, make sure you have that allowance really high because I know I'm going to want specific things, right?
And it's okay for the allowance to be high because it gets adjusted based on what's actually purchased.
Yeah.
And it not only protects us, and it protects the client as well.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's about making sure we have that experience for the customer, right? Yeah. So, and let's run down that path.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no typical jobs, I know, but we'll say an average kitchen rate remodel, right? 6 to 8 week, type of turn time, those types of jobs. What are some things customers or potential customers need to be aware of going into a project like that? Besides selections, one, get an idea what your selections are. Let's hire a designer to help you with that. But what are other things they need to be aware of?
So we're going to be in your house every single day that we can. And we're going to want to work on Saturdays. Like the guys we have work hard.
Yeah.
And they just want to get it done, like you said before. So I think a lot of clients, even though they think they're prepared for the disruption to their life, it's definitely more than you think.
Sure.
Right. Your kitchen is gone. Right. You've got strange guys in your house because it's different subs. The electrician's a different crew. The plumbers are different crew. The sheetrock guys are different. The framers are different. The cabinet people, everybody's a different crew. And so you've got these strangers coming and going. You have this lockbox on your front door, right? And I know in our contract, we want access when we need access because there's customer convenience and their quality of life versus us getting it done for what we
quoted it for. Yeah.
And that's a juggling act sometimes when, unfortunately in our industry, a lot of the guys are rough around the edges.
Sure.
Especially sheetrock guys.
Yeah.
Electricians are notoriously messy.
Yeah.
It's like there's stereotypes for trades for a reason.
Yep.
So we do our best to mitigate that process by prepping the house first.
Yep.
And a lot of people are caught off guard by interior prep costs being in the thousands because they don't understand we're going to protect the floor. Yeah. We're going to put up zipper walls that isolate areas that they're going to live in outside of the project. We're going to contain it. And if they have children, that's a whole nother beast, right? Like we have to do a whole nother level of
Safety.
supervising cleanup, right?
Yeah.
So interior prep and cleanup is something that is constantly chased throughout the project. It's not just at the start.
Yeah.
It looks all pretty at the start, but by 2 weeks of demo, or like you demo the first week, it's all torn up. I need somebody to go in and redo it. So
Yeah.
it's an ongoing process chasing that. And cleanup is a huge point of contingency for clients.
Yeah.
If it's left dirty, and I hate it. Like, it's my biggest pet
peeve. Me and you
I
both.
have stormed onto a site red-faced, ready to fire everybody over just bull crap, right? That's like, get the trash all the way to the dumpster, stuff like that. So that's part of the project management. And that's what I bring to the table, is making sure that stays done. And because these guys know what they're doing.
They do.
They just want to do it and get done.
Yep.
They're not cleaners.
Yeah, no, they're not. And, on our handyman side of the business, the expectation is we leave every area we worked cleaner than when we started.
Yeah.
Right. That's the expectation. And with the remodel side, it's similar. It's just harder because we're dealing with a lot bigger dust, a lot bigger projects, a lot more people on and off a job site on a regular basis. And, one of the things you mentioned specifically, the zipper walls, and always been a big fan of those. And then the flooring protection, it might seem extreme, but it's not extreme until we have to replace a floor because we damaged it.
And it has to be done right. You use the wrong tape, you'll peel up the, clear coat on the floor, or, so there's an art to it.
Yeah, there is.
And my guys know, the subs that I work with know that if they don't clean it up, and I will hire someone to come in right behind them, clean it up, and then I will charge them for that person coming in, and that so it helps mitigate any of
they just do it so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I will back charge you.
Yeah, and it's important to have somebody that you hire that holds people accountable, right? And has the strength to do that. I think it's a really important trait that you have to have in this business specifically, because if not, guys can run all over you.
Well, I'm fortunate in that I've weeded out a lot of those people already, and I just have I have several great guys that I can call on that
we'll get
have
it done.
Awesome teams.
Yeah, and no, I met them and I love them. They're all great. They do great work, and more importantly, but another big one is they're very respectful, right? So they have great conversations with the homeowners, and when you leave subcontractors in a house, it's stressful from your perspective, but also like really stressful from my perspective as an owner. Ultimately, I own it all, right? So I own the great experiences and I own the not great experiences, and you and your teams that you've brought in have really made it easier on me, so I don't have to stress as much, which I'm very thankful for.
It's a trial by fire industry. If there's been the mistakes, we've lived it, learned from it, and make it better.
That's right.
So.
And one of the things that, I go back to our initial conversations a lot, and you and I have these conversations, but, there's things about being a good customer too, right? And it's as terrible as this might sound for me to do on my podcast where I'm promoting my business, I want consumers to know, us as contractors, we vet our customers as much as our customers vet us. We do want customers not always concerned about whether, getting paid, that type of thing, but customers that are understanding that, hey, sometimes things don't go perfect. We need to make an adjustment. Us as contractors, we have to make that adjustment. We've got to do it, and we got to do it quick, and we got to do what's right for the customer. And I am a firm believer in that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're yelling at the top of your lungs at me because there's, trash on the floor that shouldn't be on the top of the floor, it might not be my customer. Hey, pick that up. You're right. We screwed up. I'll pick it up. That's my response. We always own our mistakes if there are any. But that's something you really brought to the table is, hey, I'm going to, I want the right customers in here. I want the customers that, want a beautiful home that we can have a long lasting relationship with.
I think unfortunately out there for years, and I think this goes back to the estimating too, people have been screwed over by contractors.
They have.
There's a lot of people out there that talk the talk but don't walk the walk.
Yeah.
And it's because it's hard to walk the walk.
It is.
Or they may be themselves going through those trials I was just talking about, where you have to learn from your mistakes. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't learn from their mistakes and do it better next time,
Yeah.
or even recognize they did.
Yeah.
It's like point the finger at the client. Lots of times there is a mistake that will happen, right? Because remodeling is not like a new build. It's the wild west of building, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You've got to be able to roll with what comes, because things were built different in the 50s than they were in the 2000s. And
Yeah.
you know,
Back then they lasted.
yeah, exactly. But also, the points that happen can be there's a lot of pitfalls that can be avoided from prep,
Yeah.
right? So the selections is one. Like, it's the wrong part, now there's a delay. Another thing that can happen is in discovery. So a lot of people who haven't done a lot of projects may not account for the possibilities of discovery. We're doing a shower, for instance, right? The house was built 100 years ago. Well, there's cast iron under
Yeah.
there, right? And you open it up, and you've bid to do just the shower drain, move a few hot and cold water lines, but you open it up and it's nasty and clogged and broken, and it's been leaking in the crawl space for
10 years.
10 years, right? And the boards are all rotted, and we've got to replace the subfloor. We got to scab in some joists. The rim boards freaking rotted. Like, there's suddenly like $8,000 in extra work that wasn't anticipated.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things, like, someone sees an extra $8,000 all of a sudden. Now they're like, oh, why didn't you know this beforehand? They're questioning your expertise and all of this sort of thing.
And you can't see everything.
And you can't see it.
That's just really what it comes down to.
That's important for the clients to know from the get-go, and it comes down to communication.
It does.
Like, just be honest and communicate with your client from the get-go that, hey, there might be something there.
Yep.
Like, in my estimates, I put a contingency called a discovery allowance. If we discover nothing, you get the whole thing back.
Yeah.
Right? If we discover something, then there's money in there already, and you don't have to, like, go through the change order process.
You're not surprised or scared by it as much because you budgeted for it up front.
So that's sort of an element I add just for that, because it is a pitfall, and it's a big one. And I've seen a million scenarios at this point, so I understand what could be the problems.
Yeah.
So I think that being mishandled by other contractors has left people with a bad taste in their mouth. There's just
You're right.
It is what it is. You go into places. So a lot of times we may view a customer as a bad customer, and I really just got to spend time with them because they may have just been burned in the past.
Yeah.
And part of my job is to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like going on a date for the first time. Like, I want you to feel comfortable.
Yep.
I want you to know that you can trust me, and I'm willing to earn that trust.
Yep.
And here's how I'm going to do that. And that's by being transparent from the beginning. I'm not hiding any numbers.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what you're being charged. This is how much I'm making off of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't like it, go pick someone who wants to deceive you, because that's not me.
And transparency in our business and the Mr. H business, that's what we're building this. We've been building this based off of is transparency. And we want clients to have that. I'm a big believer, and I've said this quite a few times. It's, you don't measure a contractor by the amount of jobs he's done right with no issues and no problems. You measure a contractor by the jobs that he ran into issues on, and then how they handled those issues, right? Because there's going to be issues, right? Whether it's a contractor mistake, whether it's a product failure, whatever there might be. When you talk about and you get into these larger remodels and these remodels that we're doing, there's going to be issues. And what's the contractor that you're hiring going to do? Are they going to stand by it? Are they going to say, hey, yeah, let's get this fixed? Or are they going to stop answering your calls? Yeah. Right. And, unfortunately, in this day and age, we see it on the news all the time. I won a couple months ago. Contractor took $150,000 down deposit to build a house. Well, one, he should have never gotten $150,000 cash deposit.
No.
Ever. He should have never taken that.
No.
But he did. And guess what? He's gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Now the customer, unfortunately, the homeowner sitting there with an empty lot after they had already lost their home.
Yeah.
And they have nothing. And they're chasing this guy
down.
down.
How are they going to get a loan now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
It's scary.
Yeah, for me, like I really love what I do.
Yeah.
I love the building part.
Yeah.
I like seeing it visualized at the end. And that really got ingrained in me at the architectural firm too. Like put it on pen and pad,
Yep.
then go watch the process, and then here's this amazing thing that you built. Like there's the like
That's
for
really
me,
cool.
that's the pinnacle of my job. So I view I want jobs that give me that same feeling.
Yeah.
And if the clients can get on board with that vibe,
Yes.
then we can have like a great experience.
You're exactly right, and that experience means the world to me, right?
Yeah.
You've been on our handy side for years, on this side for a while. That experience, the wow experience, is what we used to call it at Lowe's. Cheesy, but
Yeah.
we want customers to leave with a wow experience. They went into Lowe's, they're not going to get a wow experience, but we tried to sell it.
Yeah.
But now, what I do now absolutely can create a walk in the kitchen and go, holy cow, this is what I want.
Completely different.
Yeah. So it's so much fun. You're right. And what we
Yeah.
get to do. What are some other things that homeowners need to realize before, off this podcast, they're only going to hire Mr. H Remodeling, right?
Right.
But what are some things they need to know when hiring a project manager that they should be aware of?
You get what you pay for.
Fair enough.
Like if you want a professional who's going to know what, like professionally hand you data
Yeah.
and track things professionally.
We've spent a lot of time on
Yeah.
systems, just getting the right systems in place so that we can give the customers
Like,
that data.
like if you want an estimate that's line items with everything broke down and why it costs the way it does, then you hire a professional. There's
right.
lots of crews out there, not licensed, not insured.
Yep.
They'll build your deck for you, no problem. But you can't hold them liable for shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
You're
say
fine.
that on here.
You're fine. It's
You
an
know,
adult podcast.
Whereas we take accountability,
That's right.
and that's the difference. You get what you pay for. There's a premium on it.
Sure.
Like that's why it weeds out the clients who are looking. If you're looking for that budget build,
Yeah.
I would be more than happy to show you. I'll give you a free estimate. Here's what it costs to get it done professionally.
Yeah.
If you want to take that information and just run with it and go get other cheaper bids, by all means, you can call me when they screw it up and I'll come fix it.
That's true.
And if not, then good for you, right?
Yep.
Like,
there are cheaper options out there. Don't
there
get me
are
wrong.
cheaper options.
Even on our handyman side of the business, there's less expensive guys out there that know what they're doing. Heck, some of them used to work for me. I had a kid, Josh Smith. First 3 years of my business, he helped me build it.
Yeah.
And he was great.
Yeah.
Right. He got to the point where he could open his own business down south, and he did, and he's doing great. And is he less expensive than my handyman? Yeah.
That's
But
the
because he
nature
has
of the
no
business.
overhead.
Yeah.
His wife does his books. He's got his kids at home, and he runs a great business, and he's a great guy that does really quality work.
Yeah,
But he has
they're
no
out there.
overhead.
They're out there.
That's right. They are. But
For
they're
sure.
few and far between.
Yeah.
And they're harder and harder to find.
Yeah, Craftsman it's very difficult these days.
It really is.
It's all the old timers now, and their kids have inherited their businesses.
Yep.
And their kids just don't have that same wisdom.
Well, not even just the wisdom or desire,
Yeah.
or there's talent involved in a lot of the stuff that we do. I truly believe that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
down to drywall finishing, one of the craziest talents in the world, but drywall finishing is a
Insane.
talent.
Yeah, I've seen especially that.
Yeah.
What would take me a week would take one of the crews I have now 2 days.
Yeah. A week. I don't do drywall.
I'm like, how do you do that? How do you even let the second coat dry that fast? But they do. They get it done, and it's beautiful. And I'm a little OCD about drywall. I will take a flashlight and I go from the side and I circle what needs more mud and scribble what needs sanded, and But actually, I don't even have to do that with some of the crews I have now. So.
Yeah. And that's years. That's the only way you get that.
Yeah.
Is years of working with people and figuring it out. So, well, great, Jesse. Anything else you think homeowners should know when they hire Mr. H Remodel, when they get you out to the house?
I mean, there's probably a ton. I could talk forever about the project and the process. I could go into detail on every little part, but mainly it's just be prepared for the disruption.
Yeah.
Right.
We do everything we can to mitigate it.
Statistic, and I don't want to scare any customers away. But something like 40% of all divorces happen during a renovation.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And that's, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
So,
fortunately, though, it's because of selections. Usually, is my understanding. It's because they can't agree on selections. Not with your contractors.
Yeah, inspections also slow a process down.
That's right. Yeah.
You'll go to get inspections, and you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes they come out next day. Sometimes they're a week out. Depends on where you're at. So again, it just comes down to communication from the get-go and reiterate things. It's like, I'm going to go over the project with you in the pre-construction meeting. I'm going to go over it again. I've scheduled walkthroughs throughout projects at key phases. And, as long as everyone's on the same page and communicating, then even if I do drop the ball somewhere, like, oh, I forgot to order the one thing, or something like that, right? Or I didn't call in the insulation inspection before the framing inspection. I'm a human too.
Sure.
Right. As I have all the systems in place to track everything as well as possible.
Yep.
But, I'm not infallible, right? It's like, let's be good humans during the process.
That's right. And that's what we were talking about earlier about vetting the customers, right? We want, and it's not that they're not going to do work for somebody if we don't like them, right? It has nothing to do with that. It really is this person going to be understanding? Because this process is not a straightforward process. It's not easy. It's not linear. It moves. It's shifting constantly. And so if you're a homeowner that's looking for a remodel, we'd love to help you. But at the end of the day, we love to help the people that want to be helped and are understanding that we're going to get it done for them. So, Jesse, thanks again for hopping in the office with me and doing this podcast. Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. Built to Last.